Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought we would actually get all this detail buttoned up now. So today is going to be the bumpers and side skirts, and I'm going to be using Poorboys World Professional Polish. There's a very good reason I'm going to be using this fella today. It's not only excellent on paintwork, it's also excellent on things like vinyl. And if you remember from the last video, I'm going to try and bring these back to life. But it's also excellent on things like plexiglass, because they are quite swelled. It's excellent on glass. In fact, if it's not textured, trim or rubber, you can pretty much use it wherever you like. We're also going to give the headlights a bit of a going over too, because they're not terrible. The glass as well, they're not terrible, but they would benefit from a good polish. So let's chat, let's get cracking. So today I've opted to use the air sander, which is probably going to be my downfall, because these airlines are an absolute pain in the backside. As with all compounds, give it a really good shake. And we're going to apply for the first application, because it's a completely dry pad. We're going to use 4 pea-sized drops. Anything after that will be 2, maybe 3, depends on how much the pad soaks up. You know the score by now, guys. Dab it all over. And let's work it in. Now that is looking very, very good indeed. Slight mark there. Now I'm actually using just a mild polishing sponge here. The beauty about Pro Polish is it's completely pad dependent. So if you wanted to polish, use a polishing pad. If you wanted to cut, you use a cutting pad. If you want to finish, you use a finishing pad. It has absolutely no abrasives in it whatsoever, so the pad depends on what sort of level of finish you can expect from it. In all honesty, it's one of those one-stop products that you really should have on your shelf. Let's see if I can get this out a little more. happy with that. And of course, one of the biggest attributes for professional polish is the way it finishes down. It finishes down absolutely beautifully. Right, let's crack on. Okay, so moving on to the headlights. They're really not that bad. There is a little cloudiness here and along there as well. So we're going to use a microfiber. It's kind of a medium. It's not a cutting pad, it's not a polishing pad, it's somewhere in between. So, being quite generous with this. It's quite a wet compound, so you can work it for a very long time, but I do actually want to get a good bite on this. Let's just use a rubbish towel to get that off. Lovely. Should do it. I think you'll actually agree, that is literally brilliant. Right, so that's the headlights finished, that's the front bumper finished. So all that remains now is a quick coating with EX. Now, EX is actually a sealant, but it actually has Canuba in it as well. Whoops, don't drop it everywhere, Craig. So realistically speaking, you get the best of both worlds with EX. You get all the longevity and protection of a sealant, but you also get all the gloss and glow benefits of a Canuba wax, which, let's face it, on silver it really is hard to get a decent amount of gloss into the paint. Now I know 90% of your finish comes from the actual prep, the actual polishing, etc. But things like this really do make a difference. And again, it's incredibly versatile. You can use it on painted surfaces. You can use it on plexiglass, and you can also use it on your headlights as well. It smells really, really good. Goes on really, really smooth. Really smooth actually. And it wipes off just as easily. There you go. Now, you don't have to do this. It's just one of my things. I like to leave EX on the surface for at least 30 minutes, 45 if I have the time. Today it's only 6 degrees, so I'll be leaving this on until the end of this detail, so it's probably going to be on there for 2-3 hours. Now the reason I do that is to allow it to bond to the surface, not cure, bond to the surface. It was washed, it's just been polished, so the surface is now perfectly prepped and ready for a product. So all I'm going to do is allow it to sit there and bond for as long as it needs. Wipe it off at the end, and it will wipe off absolutely beautifully. Doesn't matter what the temperature, doesn't matter what the weather, provided it's not raining. It will come off really, really well. You'll see at the end of the video. Okay, so while the EX is curing on the front, let's have a go at these sills here. Now, as you can see there, there's quite a pronounced scuff, and all the way along, to be honest, this is quite indicative of side skirts in their nature. People get in and out of cars, they've got zips and buckles on their shoes and jeans and whatever, and it does mark them. There's not really a lot you can do about it apart from keep on top of it. So again, sticking with Pro Polish, we've now jumped up to a microfiber cutting pad, and I've gone for 3 pea-sized blobs again. Now, I might have to switch to a 2-inch pad just to do this section here, but because these don't really have a lot of rotational force. Let's see how we go though. I'm going to try it with the 3 first. And see how we get on with it. Right then. So let's take a look. So the scuff that was there, there's a tiny, tiny little mark left. But the rest of them are completely gone. And you know what? That's actually finished down reasonably well as well. There you go. That's not bad at all, is it? Okay, so now we're going to have a tackle of these pillars. Really not sure what I'm going to do about the scratches because it is vinyl. However, there's not a lot of gloss there, is there? There really isn't a lot of gloss there. I mean, I'm not expecting it to look like that, but yeah, let's see if I can improve on this a little bit. Okay, so we're up on my wonky tripod. Let's give this a go. Still with professional polish, and I've changed to a light polishing head now. Really not going to need a lot on this at all, and I'm trying to avoid splatter. I've been splattering all day. That's looking pretty good. Just going to go onto this pillar here. And then I'll go back over the wind deflectors. Yeah, really happy with that. Let me see if I can take you down off the tripod without causing too much of a problem. Right, now, like I said, I'm never going to get it like that, but they're a lot blacker than they were. There is reflection in there as well, but more importantly, those little nicks and the surface marks, they're all gone. That's amazing. Now I will say the glass and the wind deflectors, remarkable difference. And again, this pillar here, so much better. Do you know what? This is actually shaping up to be a really decent detail. Right, that's all the polishing work done. Now it's time to make things pretty. Poorboys Trim Restorer. Top tip, instead of getting all your good cloths and your applicators messed up, use some makeup removal pads, but buy your own, guys. Don't get pinching the hives. Now if you read the instructions on this, it does actually tell you to use a cotton cloth. There's a good reason for that. When you use microfiber on products like this, microfiber is actually super absorbent in itself, and what you don't want is the product ending up in a towel and not on the surface that you're treating. So quite literally, 2 little dabs. You can see how much of this I've used. I absolutely think it's brilliant. And just work it in. Also, when you've got a pad as small as that, you've got a lot of control over it. Now don't worry about making this look pretty at the moment. We just want to get a good layout over the surface. And just like the EX, we're going to let it sit, and we're going to let it sit for as long as we possibly can. Again, to let the product adhere to the surface. And plastics are actually hungry. Plastics like to soak product up, which is why it's important to use a cotton applicator and not a microfiber, so you can actually feed the surface without any issues at all. That's it. Leave it to sit on the surface now. Don't touch it. We'll be coming back in about 30-40 minutes with a cotton cloth to buff it off anyway. So just leave it, let it settle. Right, let's see if I can... Are you in shot for the... You are now. Get you in shot for the mirror casings. I am going to reapply just a little bit. Make sure this is in shot. Right, I'm going to move the tripod, bear with me. I'll never get a job with David Attenborough shooting documentaries, will I? Right, what I'm going to do now, I've applied just another small amount of this. I'm actually going to do the window rubbers as well. This is something that is always overlooked with details. When you think about these black rubbers here, they're actually framing what's around it. So if you've got everything nice and shiny but these are looking poor, it lets the car down badly. Now if you get any on the surrounding paintwork, don't panic, it will wipe off really, really easy, I promise you. Even already you can see how much of a difference that's made. It just brings a little bit of a gloss to whatever you're looking at. Right, I think that's enough filming. I'll crack on and get the rest of the car done, get the EX wiped off, get everything buffed, and then we'll take a good look. Okay, now do you remember how I said EX was really, really easy to buff off? I'm going to do this while handheld. I don't know if you can see it on the surface actually, but I'm just using the long pole side of my towel, and quite literally there's absolutely no effort gone into that at all, and it's off. This is why I love Poorboys. It is so easy to use. Easy on, easy off. The results are fantastic. And there you go. Look at that. Now that's been sat on there for over an hour. That's pretty good, isn't it? Right, let's get the rest of the car buffed off and we'll have a walk around. So, shall we take a walk around it then? So, what do I think of this detail? How did it go? Do you know what? Not too bad at all. It was a pity I've had to do it over 3 or 4 days. It's just life, really. Single parents, got kids to look after, I've got a house to run, I've got cats to feed. It's an absolute nightmare. But with the exception of the scratch on that door, which is, do you know what, guys? I'm going to admit defeat on this. It is what it is. It's noticeable, but it's a battle wound. It's a almost 13-year-old car. It's going to have battle wounds, isn't it? So let's have a look. Now you remember all the scratches on the bonnet? All gone. All along the front there is now looking superb. Pro Polish has done a brilliant job on the headlights, and it's also done a cracking job on the bumpers and skirts as well. Let's have a look down the side. You can see the reflection in it. For silver, it's absolutely superb. Really is good. So let's have a look at the plastics on the scuttle panel. And as you can see with Trim Restore, it doesn't leave it super glaringly bright and shiny. It leaves it quite a nice factory finish, which is tops in my opinion. Still got a few little smudges to go around and wipe up. Let's have a look at the rubbers. Now can you see why I use trim restorer on the rubbers? They're factory black again, and they look absolutely spot on. Wind deflectors, really, really good. Really happy with those. And of course the vinyl pillars. Remember the scratch on the door? All gone. What I will say is this is another little detailing tip for you as well. Get a few cans of cheap silicone, because you see all these liners in there. Once you've given those a good cleaning out, it really does pay to spray a little bit of silicone in there as well. There's nothing worse than getting your car all detailed, then you take it out for a ride, you park it up, and you look back at it, the sun's hitting it, and you can see grey, dull, lifeless wheel arch liners. Get them treated, guys. It's literally 30 seconds out of your life. Trim restorer on the tyres as well. I'm not a huge fan of super shiny tyres, and trim restorer does a fantastic job of tyre dressing. Around the back, trim restorer's gone on the wiper arm as well, so again we're back to factory black. And let's have a look down this side again. That's really not bad reflections at all, is it? So, there you have it. I get asked a lot, why Poor Boys? Why do you favour Poor Boys so much? This is the reason why. I'm an outdoor detailer, don't have a unit. And they're absolutely superb to use outdoors. It doesn't matter if it's baking hot sun, it doesn't matter if it's cold like it is today. I mean, it's 5-6 degrees today. And they do exactly what they promise on the labels. There's no mess, there's no fussing, it just works. And let's be honest, that's all we're really looking for, isn't it? Happy with that. Like I said, apart from the scratch on the back door. In fact, if there are any smart repairers watching, hit me up, get in touch, because as much as I'm admitting defeat, I don't really want to admit defeat. Apologies if you've heard pinging noises throughout this video. Stupidly, I forgot to turn my Wi-Fi off, and I've been messaged constantly. So that's your lot, guys. Really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, actually. I hope you managed to pick up some tips along the way. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, give it a share, and let's get some more subscribers. I'm up to 83 at the moment, and guys, I can't thank you enough. I started this as a bit of something to relieve lockdown boredom, but it's really beginning to take off. So all the guys that are subscribed, thank you very much. It really is appreciated. If there are any manufacturers watching, please get in touch. I would love to review your products for you. And that's about it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you found it useful. Give it a like, hit subscribe, give it a share if you feel the need to. And until the next time, keep it shiny.